been about 2 weeks since the last update. It just rained today, so it's a little overcast and cool, but it's been mostly sunny and in the 90s for the majority of that time period. There's nothing super dramatic has happened, but you can clearly see that there has been a lot of growth in here. The chervil plants are like 6 or 8 inches tall. The ivy is kind of spread a bit. This grass is up to like 8 inches. I don't think that was in frame. This here. I don't see any bugs or anything in there right now, but if you look closely at the glass, we can see trails where snails have gone through. Let's see. Here is a path. Here's another path. Most of the inside is covered in algae, so you can tell where the snails have been by where the algae has been cleared out. And otherwise, there's not a ton remarkable to say about this one, other than just to take a look at how much more is living in it, or how much bigger the plants are now than they were 2 weeks ago. The 2 other wine bottle terraria, nothing much noticeable, except I think I've knocked them over. I think they've both been knocked over at this point. And moving on to the others. So over here, kind of something to illustrate. Last night, yesterday morning, this glass jar was empty, and you can see now it's about 5 or 6 inches full, so that's how much rain we got last night, and that's about all the rain we've gotten in the last, since the last update. Which is part of why I'm doing this now, because it's nice and cool out. It's been hot otherwise. If you look, these 2 on the right have cleaned off the glass a little bit. The one on the left I haven't. And you can see there's quite a bit of dirt all over it, kicked up by the storm. Kicked up. Rain hits the dirt over here, and then that splashes on and sticks to the wet glass. I'm going to try to clean these off a little bit, but just to get a look inside, this one's kind of the most interesting right now. You can see that one plant that I've been watching is still alive, even though it's up against the glass. If you look at the algae, you can see there's some visible even on the surface of the dirt. But if you turn it around where there's not as much, on the back where there's not as much sunlight, there's essentially no algae visible. Well, there's a tendril of something. It might just be a leftover of a dead plant. This is kind of fun to watch this one come back to life. I don't know how long it will take for this to start rotting. That tends to be what happens. This our perennial winter is still doing all right. It's green all over, but you can see there's a huge blob of algae on the sun-facing side, and nothing on the back. And here, still dealing with this mold issue, but the clover's still doing all right, and this other plant we still can't identify. Seems to be doing pretty well, and you'll notice that's it. So they're both growing right up against the part of the glass where the sun hits it, and then they block out all the light, and nothing else grows in there. Well, there's a little algae in the back, and of course, the obligatory giant clump of it on the front. I don't know if over time this will kind of spread to the back. Probably if I turned it around I might see something happen, but I'm just going to leave it like this and see what it does. And in here, not looking terribly healthy at this point, but there is some algae. Both of these, again, not very healthy looking terrariums. Barely even any, in fact I don't know if there is any algae in this one. That would be quite unusual, but it could be. Similar in here. Still nothing. The nothing terrarium actually does have something, even if it's just algae. And then the little gin bottle that I moved outside, still nothing to note. That's really all for these backyard jars. In the front yard, there's very little to see. This jar, as before, is still maybe barely clinging to life. There's a little greenishness, but still basically dead. The only thing really to note, and it's not new, is this various kinds of algae and stuff that are living in the soil, and I think I showed that in the last video. So just thought I'd show these to be complete, but there's not anything new to see because the heat seems to have killed them all off.